Every day, the choices you make define your destiny. Every morning when you wake up, you are presented with two paths, one that keeps you where you are, and another that takes you closer to who you want to become. Success, happiness, health, wealth, none of these arrive by chance. They are the result of consistent, deliberate habits practiced over time. The truth is simple yet powerful. Change your habits and you change your life. Most people don't fail because of lack of talent or opportunity. They fail because of small, repeated decisions that pull them away from their goals. The habit of procrastinating just for today. The habit of staying up late, of wasting time scrolling, of saying, "I'll start tomorrow." These habits seem harmless, but they compound. A day becomes a week becomes a year, and suddenly potential turns into regret. But here's the good news: you can reverse it. You can build habits that propel you forward just as easily as you built the ones that hold you back. Think about it. Every successful person you admire has simply replaced bad habits with good ones. They have trained their mind to choose growth over comfort. They rise early when others sleep. They read when others watch television. They take action while others make excuses. They don't rely on motivation, they rely on discipline. Motivation is what gets you started, but discipline is what keeps you moving. One of the most powerful things you can do is identify the single worst habit that is limiting your progress. Maybe it's hitting snooze every morning. Maybe it's self-doubt. Maybe it's spending too much time on distractions. Whatever it is, name it and decide that today you will no longer let it control you. Replace it with a single good habit. If you usually waste 30 minutes on social media in the morning, replace that time with reading a book that improves your mindset. If you tend to avoid hard tasks, start your day by completing the most difficult one first. This small shift will ignite momentum. Your habits form your identity. Every action you take is a vote for the person you wish to become. When you choose to eat healthy, you cast a vote for a stronger, more energetic version of yourself. When you study instead of drifting through entertainment, you vote for a smarter, more capable you. Each vote matters. The more you repeat these good habits, the more they become part of your nature, automatic, effortless, and powerful. There's a law of life that never fails. Success is nothing more than a few simple disciplines practiced every day, while failure is simply a few small errors repeated every day. Those tiny errors seem insignificant in the moment, but over time, they determine your entire future. Ask yourself, what are the small disciplines that could change everything for me? Waking up early, reading 30 minutes daily, planning your day the night before, exercising consistently. Those are not just habits. They are investments in your destiny. You must learn to take full control of your routine because your routine creates your results. The way you start your day sets the tone for everything that follows. Begin with purpose. Begin with gratitude. Begin with clarity. Before you check your phone, take a few moments to visualize your goals, to remind yourself who you are becoming. When you control your mornings, you control your life. It's never too late to transform. You can reprogram your habits at any age, in any situation. The brain is remarkably adaptable. The moment you truly decide that you are done with your old self, change begins instantly. You may stumble at first. That's normal. But every time you choose the better habit, you strengthen your self-discipline muscle. And with each repetition, it becomes easier, more natural, more powerful. Remember, no one succeeds overnight. Success is built slowly, brick by brick, habit by habit. As Brian Tracy says, you are what you repeatedly do. So, build habits that match your dreams. Create routines that lift you higher. Turn your life into a masterpiece of discipline, purpose, and consistency. Because at the end of the day, the world doesn't reward potential. It rewards performance. And performance is simply the result of the habits you live by. So make the decision today. Trade in the habits that weaken you for the habits that strengthen you. Replace doubt with determination. Replace comfort with courage. Replace laziness with action. And soon you'll discover what you were truly capable of all along. Every great transformation begins with a single step, a single habit repeated daily until success becomes inevitable. Start now. Your future self is waiting. Every great success story begins not with luck or talent, but with habits. Your habits are the invisible architecture of your life. They determine how you think, how you act, and ultimately who you become. From the moment you wake up to the moment you go to sleep, your habits silently shape your destiny. Every decision, no matter how small, compounds over time to create the person you are today and the life you experience tomorrow. If you want to change your future, you must begin by changing what you repeatedly do each day. Think about it. Your habits are like seeds. When you plant good ones, discipline, focus, persistence, they grow into a life filled with achievement, confidence, and freedom. But when you nurture bad habits, procrastination, laziness, excuses, they grow just as quickly into frustration, failure, and regret. You cannot escape the consequences of your habits, just as you cannot harvest apples from a tree that was planted with lemon seeds. Life always gives you back what you put into it through your behavior. Most people don't realize that their habits are shaping their future even when they're not thinking about it. They wake up late, rush through the morning, skip planning their day, and wonder why they always feel behind. They make impulsive decisions, waste precious hours, and later complain about lack of progress. What they don't see is that their daily routine, those automatic actions they take without thought, has more power over their destiny than their goals, dreams, or even intentions. Goals set your direction, but habits determine your destination. The truth is, we become what we repeatedly do. Excellence, success, happiness, these are not random outcomes. They are the result of consistent behavior aligned with purpose. If you want to become more successful, don't focus only on the big picture. Focus on the small disciplines you practice every day. Winners are not those who do extraordinary things occasionally. They are those who do ordinary things consistently and with excellence. The first step toward transforming your life is to take full responsibility for your habits. No one else chooses them for you. You decide how you spend your mornings, how you use your time, how you react to challenges, and how you treat others. Every time you repeat a behavior, you strengthen that habit, good or bad. Each repetition carves a pathway in your mind, making it easier to repeat next time. This is how habits become automatic, and why change feels difficult at first. You are literally rewiring your brain when you choose a better path. But here is the empowering truth. Just as bad habits can drag you down, good habits can lift you higher than you ever imagined. The key is to start small. Identify one habit that's keeping you stuck and replace it with one that moves you forward. If you waste time on your phone every morning, start your day by reading something inspiring instead. If you often complain, train yourself to express gratitude. If you tend to postpone important tasks, commit to finishing one before noon each day. These simple acts repeated daily will begin to shift your mindset, your results, and your life. Every great leader, entrepreneur, and achiever you admire has built their success on a foundation of strong habits. They don't leave their growth to chance. They create it through consistency. They know that what they do every day matters far more than what they do occasionally. It's not the intensity of your efforts that creates success. It's the consistency of your actions. One disciplined hour each day of focused work, learning, or self-improvement can transform your future faster than years of scattered effort. The most powerful question you can ask yourself is this: are my current habits taking me closer to my goals or further away? If you answer honestly, you'll know what must change. And once you know, the power to transform your destiny lies entirely in your hands. Every day gives you a new opportunity to choose the habits that build the life you desire. Success is not an accident, it's a habit. The first and most critical step in transforming your life is awareness. You cannot change what you do not understand. Every human being operates according to patterns, routines, and habits, some that push them forward, others that quietly pull them back. Yet most people go through life on autopilot, unaware that their actions are guided by deeply ingrained behaviors developed over years. Awareness is the moment you wake up. It's the moment you stop blaming circumstances, luck, or other people, and you look directly at your own habits with honesty and courage. Awareness is not about judgment. It's about clarity. It's seeing things as they truly are, not as you wish them to be. When you step back and observe yourself objectively, how you think, how you react, how you spend your time, you begin to notice patterns that either serve or sabotage your success. Perhaps you procrastinate when tasks feel uncomfortable. Perhaps you start your day with distractions instead of direction. Maybe you use excuses to mask fear or uncertainty. These realizations are not failures, they are breakthroughs. Because once you are aware of them, you can change them. The act of becoming self-aware is like turning on a light in a dark room. Before, you stumbled around, hitting walls and tripping over unseen obstacles. But once the light is on, you can finally see what's holding you back. You can clean up the clutter, move the furniture, and create a clear path forward. Awareness brings understanding, and understanding brings power. You can't fix what you refuse to face. To develop this awareness, begin by observing your daily life as if you were watching someone else's story. What do you do the moment you wake up? How do you react when you face stress? How much time do you spend on things that add value versus those that drain you? Write it down. Reflect honestly. Don't make excuses. Just see the truth. Many people never take this step. They keep repeating the same routines, hoping life will improve on its own. But awareness is the foundation of transformation. It is the doorway to growth. When you recognize the habits that limit you, you take back your power. Most of our habits were not consciously chosen. They were inherited, copied, or formed by repetition. You might have developed them out of comfort, fear, or simple convenience. But when you see them clearly, you realize that you have the freedom to choose differently. Awareness gives you the ability to interrupt automatic behavior and replace it with intentional action. Every successful person has gone through this process of self-discovery. They examine their thoughts and behaviors with brutal honesty. They ask, what am I doing that keeps me from my goals? And what new behavior will move me closer to success? They treat awareness like a daily practice, constantly checking in with themselves. Because awareness is not a one-time event, it's a lifelong discipline. You may think your bad habits are fixed, but they are not. They live only as long as you remain aware of them. The moment you observe them consciously, they begin to lose power. Awareness brings choice, and choice brings freedom. For example, when you become aware that you check your phone out of boredom, you can choose to read something uplifting instead. When you notice that you react negatively under pressure, you can choose to pause and breathe. Every act of awareness creates space between stimulus and response, and in that space, your power to change grows. The people who achieve the most in life are not necessarily the smartest or the luckiest. They are simply the most aware. They are mindful of how they spend their time, how they speak, how they think, and how they treat others. They live consciously instead of carelessly. They understand that success begins in the mind. What you think, you become. And to master your thoughts, you must first notice them. Awareness transforms confusion into clarity, frustration into understanding, and weakness into strength. It gives you control over your actions, your emotions, and your destiny. When you live with awareness, you no longer drift, you drive. You no longer react, you respond. And in that shift lies the beginning of true personal transformation. Eliminating a bad habit is never enough. Nature abhors a vacuum. When you remove something from your life, it leaves an empty space. And if you don't fill that space intentionally, the old habit will quietly return. That's why lasting change doesn't come from mere resistance. It comes from replacement. You must substitute a negative pattern with a positive one that serves your goals and strengthens your character. The key to transformation is not to fight against your bad habits, but to build new habits strong enough to make the old ones obsolete. Think about it. Every bad habit fulfills a need. It gives you comfort, distraction, or temporary relief. People don't develop bad habits because they want to fail. They do it because, in some way, it makes them feel better in the moment. For example, procrastination gives a false sense of ease by avoiding discomfort. Junk food provides quick pleasure when you feel stressed. Scrolling on your phone distracts you from boredom or anxiety. The problem isn't the need itself, it's the way you're trying to satisfy it. So, the solution is not to suppress the habit, but to replace it with a better alternative that fulfills the same need in a healthier way. If you want to stop procrastinating, don't just say, "I'll stop wasting time." Instead, replace that behavior with something meaningful. Set a clear task, break it into smaller steps, and reward yourself for progress. If you want to stop negative thinking, fill your mind with empowering thoughts by reading, journaling, or practicing gratitude daily. If you want to quit bad eating habits, stock your kitchen with nourishing options so that making the right choice becomes easy. Every time you remove an old pattern, you must deliberately build a new one in its place. When you replace instead of resist, you engage your mind positively. Resistance drains energy, replacement directs it. The more you focus on avoiding something, the stronger it becomes in your mind. When you say, "I won't be lazy," your brain still visualizes laziness. But when you say, "I will take action right now," your focus shifts toward progress. Whatever you focus on expands, so focus on the actions you want, not the ones you don't. Change is easier when you understand the psychology behind it. Habits are formed through repetition and reward. Every time you repeat a behavior that gives you a sense of satisfaction, your brain releases dopamine, reinforcing that action. The goal is to attach that reward to a good habit instead of a bad one. For example, if you feel satisfaction after finishing a workout or completing a task, your brain starts craving that success feeling. Soon, you no longer need willpower. It becomes automatic. Successful people know this secret. They don't waste time fighting their bad habits. They redirect that energy toward building better ones. Instead of saying, "I won't waste time watching TV," they create a new routine, reading, exercising, planning their next project. They understand that every bad habit can be replaced with a habit of growth. Over time, these new habits become part of who they are, and the old ones lose their hold completely. To make replacement work, start small. Don't try to change everything overnight. Identify one negative habit that's costing you the most. Perhaps it's complaining, oversleeping, or procrastinating, and find a single positive action to replace it. If you tend to complain, practice gratitude by writing down 3 things you're thankful for each morning. If you oversleep, place your alarm across the room, so you must get up to turn it off and immediately drink water or stretch. If you procrastinate, schedule just 10 minutes of focused work. Often, that small start breaks inertia and leads to full momentum. The magic of replacement is that it builds momentum. Once you successfully replace one bad habit, you gain confidence to replace another and another. Your self-image begins to shift. You stop seeing yourself as someone who struggles and start seeing yourself as someone who takes control. That new identity reinforces your success even further. Change becomes not something you force, but something you live. The more positive habits you build, the less room there is for negative ones. It's like filling a cup with clean water. The dirty water naturally flows out. You don't need to fight the old. You just need to fill your life so completely with the new that the old has no space to survive. That is how true transformation happens. So, don't waste energy fighting your bad habits. Instead, channel that energy into building better ones. Habits that align with your goals, strengthen your discipline, and bring you closer to your best self. Replace distraction with focus, comfort with courage, and hesitation with action. Soon the old patterns will fade, and you'll find yourself living a life shaped by intention, purpose, and power. Discipline is the bridge that connects your dreams to your achievements. Motivation may spark the desire to start, but discipline is what carries you through when the excitement fades and challenges arise. It is the ability to do what must be done, even when you don't feel like doing it. The truth is, every successful person you admire has learned to master themselves through discipline. They've trained their mind to act, not react, to persist, not retreat. Discipline is the foundation of success, and without it, even the most brilliant goals remain nothing more than wishes. Motivation is fleeting. It comes and goes with your emotions, your energy, your circumstances. One day you feel unstoppable, and the next you can barely move forward. Discipline, however, is steady and reliable. It doesn't depend on feelings. It depends on commitment. It is the voice inside you that says, "Do it anyway." It's what gets you out of bed early when you'd rather sleep. It's what pushes you to complete that project when your mind is tired. It's what keeps you training, learning, and growing long after others have given up. Discipline is consistency in action, repeated effort directed toward your highest purpose. Every time you practice discipline, you strengthen your character. Just as lifting weights strengthens your muscles, exercising discipline builds your willpower. Each act of discipline makes the next one easier. You begin to trust yourself, to believe that when you say you'll do something, you'll follow through. That self-trust is one of the most powerful forms of confidence. It tells you that no matter what obstacles come your way, you can depend on your own strength to overcome them. Without discipline, even the most talented individuals fall short of their potential. With it, ordinary people achieve extraordinary results. There will always be moments when discipline feels uncomfortable. Growth always demands discomfort. Well, that's you. It's much easier to stay in bed than to wake up early. It's easier to procrastinate than to take action. It's easier to complain than to stay calm and focused. But every time you choose discipline over ease, you are reshaping your identity. You're saying to yourself, "I am in control. I decide what happens next." That's how winners are made, not by luck or talent, but by mastering their choices moment by moment. The great achievers of history, athletes, entrepreneurs, leaders, didn't succeed because they felt motivated all the time. They succeeded because they were disciplined enough to act, regardless of how they felt. They understood that if you wait for the perfect moment, you'll wait forever. The perfect moment is created by consistent effort. The small daily acts of discipline, planning your day, following through on commitments, reading, exercising, saving, learning, build into habits of excellence that eventually define your life. To develop discipline, start by keeping small promises to yourself. Wake up when you said you would. Finish the task you started. Follow through on your word, even when it's inconvenient. These small victories accumulate, and soon you'll realize that your ability to stay consistent is your greatest advantage. When others stop, you continue. When others hesitate, you act. That's the edge discipline gives you. Discipline also brings freedom from chaos, confusion, and regret. Many people see discipline as restrictive, but the truth is, it liberates you. When you are disciplined, you don't have to constantly battle indecision or guilt. You don't waste time wondering what to do. You already know because your priorities are clear. You gain control over your mind, your time, and your destiny. The more disciplined you are, the more control you have over your results. Life will always test your discipline. There will be days when you're tired, discouraged, or tempted to give up. Those are the moments that matter most. Anyone can stay committed when things are easy. Discipline is proven when things are hard. If you can push through when your emotions scream, stop, you develop an inner strength that no setback can destroy. Each challenge you conquer strengthens the bridge between your goals and your achievements. Discipline is not something you are born with. It is something you build, choice by choice, day by day. It is a skill, a mindset, and a commitment to becoming your best self. When you make discipline your daily practice, success becomes inevitable. You no longer wait for opportunities. You create them. You no longer rely on motivation. You rely on mastery. And that mastery turns every dream into a reality, one disciplined action at a time. Success is not built in a day. It is built daily. The most powerful truth about transformation is that small, consistent actions over time create massive results. We often believe that big changes require big efforts, but in reality, it's the small, steady improvements that compound into extraordinary achievement. Each little choice, each disciplined act, and each positive habit, repeated over days, weeks, and years, becomes the invisible force behind every great success story. The magic lies not in doing a lot once, but in doing a little every single day. It's easy to underestimate the power of small actions because their effects aren't immediately visible. If you go to the gym once, you won't see results the next morning. If you save a small amount of money today, you won't become rich overnight. If you read 10 pages of a book, you won't suddenly become an expert. But over time, these small actions compound, just like interest in a bank account. Each effort builds on the one before it, and eventually, the results are extraordinary. This is the law of compounding, and it governs every area of your life, your health, your wealth, your knowledge, and your relationships. The same is true for negative habits. Just as positive actions compound into success, small negative choices compound into failure. Skipping a workout, wasting an hour, spending impulsively, or putting off an important task may seem harmless in the moment. But repeated over time, they erode your confidence, your momentum, and your potential. Failure rarely happens overnight. It grows quietly from a series of small, undisciplined choices. As Jim Rohn once said, failure is nothing more than a few small errors in judgment, repeated every day. The good news is that success is just as predictable if you practice a few simple disciplines daily. The secret to massive results is consistency. Consistency turns action into habit and habit into identity. When you repeat something long enough, it becomes part of who you are. The person who reads every day eventually becomes knowledgeable. The person who exercises daily becomes strong. The person who saves money consistently becomes financially secure. The person who practices discipline daily becomes unstoppable. Small steps repeated with purpose become a staircase to greatness. Every successful individual you admire started small. They weren't born with extraordinary skills or unlimited motivation. They built their strength one small decision at a time. The writer who publishes a best-selling book began by writing a single page each day. The entrepreneur who built a thriving company began by making one sale. The athlete who wins a gold medal began by training for 1 hour. They all understood one thing: consistency beats intensity. Doing a little each day is far more powerful than doing a lot once in a while. The human brain loves progress. When you accomplish something small, you get a sense of satisfaction and confidence that pushes you to keep going. This is how momentum is built. The moment you start taking small, positive actions, your mind begins to associate progress with pleasure. That emotional reward becomes fuel for further action. Over time, the small wins pile up and the momentum becomes unstoppable. What once felt difficult becomes natural, and what once seemed impossible becomes inevitable. If you want to change your life, focus on the process, not just the outcome. Don't worry about how far you still have to go. Focus on what you can do today. Ask yourself, what small action can I take right now that moves me forward? It might be reading a few pages, making one phone call, cleaning your workspace, or writing down your goals. Each of these small steps may seem insignificant, but together they create unstoppable momentum. Success doesn't happen in giant leaps. It happens through disciplined inches. The beauty of this principle is that anyone can apply it. You don't need to be the smartest, the fastest, or the most talented. You just need to be consistent. 10 minutes of focus each day can outperform hours of scattered effort. 1% improvement every day makes you 37 times better in a year. That's the power of compounding, the quiet miracle that turns small actions into life-changing results. When you truly understand this, your entire approach to success changes. You stop searching for shortcuts or waiting for the perfect moment. You realize that greatness is built in the daily grind, the little choices that no one sees. And once you master those, success stops being something you chase. It becomes something you attract through consistent effort. Every day becomes a brick in the foundation of your future, and with time, those bricks form a fortress of achievement, confidence, and fulfillment. Your routine is the silent architect of your destiny. The way you spend your days shapes the way you spend your life. Every action you take, every decision you make, and every pattern you follow contributes to your success or failure. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your daily routine. If your days are filled with purpose, focus, and consistency, success becomes not a matter of luck, but a matter of time. But if your routine is filled with distractions, procrastination, and disorganization, even the greatest dreams will remain out of reach. Every person on this planet lives according to routines, whether they realize it or not. Some routines are intentional, built around growth and achievement, while others are accidental, driven by habit and comfort. The question is not whether you have a routine, it's whether your routine is serving your success or sabotaging it. The greatest difference between those who achieve extraordinary results and those who remain stuck lies in how they structure their days. Successful people design their routines with precision. They know that a productive day doesn't happen by chance. It happens by design. The way you start your morning determines the tone of your entire day. When you wake up with clarity and purpose, your mind stays sharp and your focus remains strong. But when you wake up in chaos, checking your phone, rushing, reacting to everything around you, you set yourself up for stress and distraction. The most successful individuals in any field understand the power of a disciplined morning routine. They rise early, take time for gratitude or reflection, review their goals, exercise their body, and feed their mind with positive input. That simple structure gives them control before the world demands their attention. Your routine also defines your mindset. If you consistently begin your day by working on meaningful tasks, your confidence grows because you're keeping promises to yourself. You start seeing yourself as productive, capable, and in control. But if you constantly start your day reacting to problems, checking messages, or engaging in meaningless activities, you condition your mind for distraction and mediocrity. Over time, your daily choices shape your identity. You become the product of your habits. Designing an empowering routine begins with clarity. Ask yourself, what do I want my life to look like 1 year from now? What habits would I need to practice daily to make that vision real? Then, structure your days around those answers. If your goal is better health, make exercise non-negotiable. If you want financial freedom, dedicate focused time each day to learning, planning, and executing. If you desire peace of mind, build moments of silence, reflection, or meditation into your schedule. A strong routine is not about doing more. It's about doing what matters most with purpose. One of the secrets of high achievers is that they guard their time fiercely. They understand that every minute wasted is a minute stolen from their goals. That's why they plan their days in advance, often the night before, so they wake up with direction. They set priorities, work in focus blocks, and schedule rest intentionally. They know that structure doesn't limit freedom, it creates it. When your routine is aligned with your goals, you gain clarity, momentum, and peace of mind. You stop living in reaction to life and start creating it on your terms. Of course, designing a routine is not enough. You must follow it with discipline. There will be days when you don't feel like sticking to it, when distractions call your name, when motivation fades. Those are the moments that test your commitment. The beauty of a strong routine is that it doesn't rely on feelings. It runs on systems. When your habits are built into your schedule, you don't have to think about whether you'll take action. You simply do it. The system takes over, and consistency becomes automatic. Over time, your routine becomes your greatest source of strength. It grounds you during chaos and keeps you moving forward when motivation runs low. It transforms effort into habit and habit into identity. The small, consistent actions you take each day, planning your goals, reading, exercising, reflecting, become the backbone of your success. When you control your routine, you control your results. Every day is a new opportunity to design the life you desire. You have the power to decide what your time, your focus, and your energy will be used for. The key is intentionality. Don't let your days drift aimlessly. Design them with purpose. Structure your mornings for clarity, your afternoons for progress, and your evenings for renewal. When you align your routine with your vision, success stops being a distant dream. It becomes a natural outcome of how you live. Success is not a mystery, it's a process. It's the sum of small, deliberate actions repeated with discipline, awareness, and purpose. Every moment offers you a choice: to stay as you are, or to step closer to who you want to become. You are not limited by your past habits. You are empowered by your ability to create new ones. The journey from bad habits to good is the journey from average to exceptional, from chaos to clarity, from drifting to driving your own destiny. Every great transformation begins the same way, with a single decision. The decision to wake up earlier, to think differently, to act with intention, to replace weakness with strength, and comfort with courage. When you take control of your daily routine, you take control of your life. The difference between those who wish for success and those who achieve it lies in what they do each day when no one is watching. So, start today. Be aware of your habits, replace the ones that limit you, and build those that elevate you. Live with discipline, focus on small, consistent progress, and design a routine that aligns with your greatest vision. Because when your habits reflect your purpose, success is inevitable. Every day is a new chance to rewrite your story. One action, one choice, one habit at a time. Your future begins the moment you decide to transform your today. Thank you